Good morning to everyone. We'll see how we do. Everybody's just now 11 o'clock. I know I sent out a late reminder, but on that invitation with the Zoom stuff, it's got all of the meetings through the next year. So we are basically the first Thursday of every month. And should be, I believe, the same for next month. Let me just take a quick look on the calendar. I don't think we've got anything to interfere with us on that. Nope. We will be good for next month. So next month it will be on November, well, check that. November 3rd, yes, we're going to be fine. November 3rd, December 1st. So those will be there for us to be able to function and operate. So thanks for being here. Thanks for being on time. You guys are awesome. We're going to keep on working on building this so that everybody remembers, and that hopefully we can get up to about 50 people on this call every month. I'll let you guys know that come January, the plan is to have an actual live mentor meeting that, yeah, we can do the same thing we'll do here, best practices, you know, I need help with discoveries, things of that nature. But we'll also do some form of training to help you be a better mentor. So there is 9 of us on here right now. I believe a few more will be joining us. What I'd like to start with is just, you know, the good news. What kind of share some good news of what you guys have been running into. Kim, share. You're muted, my dear.
Okay, can you hear me now?
There you go.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. So we all went to Hard Knocks, myself and my two mentees. And I think that alone, we made a commitment to be in the office, to really work on phone calls, to do all that, to kind of jumpstart the business. And we've been meeting, you know, 2 times a week and really working on that. And because of it, both of my girls now have listings, and one of them had met an investor, and she just nailed 2 properties with them.
Wow.
Oh yeah, so good news all the way around.
Awesome. Awesome. I love that. Rachel, you got to share, because everybody please welcome Rachel Morgan. She is a first timer with us, and she's also one who's gone all the way through the mentor program and helped me. She didn't know how much she helped, but with the speed board development and what it is. So
hi guys. I actually am new to the mentor program. I did go through the mentor program. Apparently I did help out Darwin a little bit with that. So since I went through the mentor program, I think I graduated that in 9 months, which may take a little longer than some, but I had a good experience. I was with James Morgan. He was my mentee or mentor. So I now have somebody underneath me. Her name's Montoya. We both were also at Hard Knocks. The last day of Hard Knocks, I actually was asked to be a mentor. So that was exciting.
Nice.
And then, so far, obviously we haven't done too much because we're still kind of just trying to get transitioned, being a mentor and then a mentee. But we did have a listing appointment she got from a FSBO call, but unfortunately he did not answer. So that was kind of a bummer. But so far that's what we have. I do have a appointment today that I actually called yesterday for a FSBO. So I have a listing appointment today. Hopefully she's able to go with me. So that's where we're at right now.
Great.
Awesome, awesome. That is good stuff. That is good
Thank you.
stuff. Hey, who else has got some good news to share, personal or for one of your mentees, the successes? Nicole, you got to have something from your group.
I'm just gonna listen today, Darwin. So Adam, I don't know when Adam started, but he got with me back in probably June. All he needs to do is close stuff and he's done. I mean, he's beyond done. Like I don't know, he's got 9 different things. They're little things, like he had both sides of a $35,000 deal. At
Yeah.
this point in time, I don't care. I just want him
Yeah.
to be doing the processes. Things aren't super smooth. I think the perfect storm is when they stick with us and they follow us, and you're going to see I'm at home today. I've been nonstop dead run since September 14th, so I'm taking a slow day. But I really think they need to follow us and shadow us, because there's things that they're going to pick up and learn. And like with Erin, she also graduated the program very quickly. And I don't know if she's the anomaly or if she just listened to me. I don't know. Here's what I will tell you. Adam's doing this despite some really crazy circumstances. He's got 3 kids under the age of 3.
Wow.
He is basically the stay-at-home dad. So he's got grandparents that are, willing to be involved. Thank God. Now he's got some money in his business account. So I said, you need to get a full-time babysitter, because grandma and grandpa, 3 kids under the age of 3,
Yeah.
that's not working. I can't wait to see what he's gonna do. I got to clean some stuff up. Things are dirty. And they wouldn't be dirty if he could be with me, but he can't be with me. So I think we're doing things despite odds being stacked up against us. So one of my favorite quotes is, "To hell with circumstances, I create opportunities." And I think he is the perfect example of that. So I'm really proud of him, because I'm a social media builder. Erin built on social. He's buying leads. Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. He's got to weed through a lot of stuff, but he's doing good. So I'm super proud of him despite everything.
So you've actually given a good transition over to best practices. And I like what you brought up, because I've been out and talking with a few of you, and one of the things has been get them to follow you. So we know that I always talk of that 4-step process. Tell them how, show them how, watch them do it, coach, of which really steps 2 and 3 are your primary responsibilities. Want you out there on their listing appointments. They should want you with them on their listing appointments. But make sure that we drag them along. And I think, Nicole, that's really what my understanding of what you're doing is. You're dragging them along, and you don't beat around the bush with them as far as what they're doing, do you?
No, I'm not Willy Wonka. I don't sugarcoat.
I'm aware of the fact that she's not.
So I'm not showing up in the office. What do you do?
Well, and this was a fierce conversation that I had with Adam, and I think my text message was brought up in a manager meeting, and I thought, oh God, they're gonna take my license from me. But I heard Darwin smiled, so Chris cringed, Darwin smiled. I get that 100%. But yeah, I mean, I just kind of let them know, like, this is what it is. These are my expectations. I want you to succeed, but all I can do is bring you to the water. I can't make you drink. And that's one of the things that like I said, there's some stuff that we got to clean up with Adam, communication. But he's gotten better since, I confronted him about it. Say what you mean what you say it in a nice way. It's just what I guess I try to do. You're not showing up in the office. I don't know. I guess I don't chase. My goal is lead by example.
I think that's a great best practice right there by itself. They can see that here's what it's like to be a real estate agent, and you do a great job of that aspect of setting the example. So you don't have to beat around the bush. And of course, when you can say it with a smile, that makes a difference too. Hey, Shelley Waters, I don't know if you're able to jump in and share, but I know you're another one who's not afraid to have fierce conversations. So Shelley, if you're in a place where you can speak up, that would be great.
I was kind of hoping you wouldn't see me after those comments that were just made.
You're too good to be silent, just like Nicole. You can't not participate.
Thanks a lot, Nicole.
Sorry, Shelley. Sorry.
That's
My
all right.
tribe. My
Yeah,
tribe.
you next time we'll just pretend I'm not here. But no, Nicole's absolutely spot on. I mean, you have to have a voice in this business. I mean, I've got, 2 mentees. One is a wild goose chase. I just stopped chasing, and just, tried to lead by example, but I would take a right, that one would take a left, but it's coming under control. I think, I don't know, but the other one I have, he was doing really, really good, but then I noticed that he didn't finish his new training, and I had the conversation with him, and he told everybody I was being mean to him. So I guess truth hurts a little bit, but not my fault. Not my fault.
But I think it's one of the things, and Nicole used the term fierce conversation in the leadership team. That is a conversation in a term using conversation. It doesn't mean that I'm being mean or nasty. It means that I care enough that I'm going to hit you with the truth of, in our cases, action. Or
I agree.
most of the time, the lack of action. So we need to have these fierce conversations, and we as managers, like Heather's on, Brenda and I, we need to have these fierce conversations with you, and sometimes we need to have the fiercest conversation. I know Larry and Valerie in Rochester, we've got a few, you'll hear the term MIAs, missing in action. They're not talking to you. They're not doing a weekly meeting. They're not meeting with the manager weekly. They're not coming to team meetings. I mean, here, you name it. It's like, what happened? It just fell off the face of the earth. Well, you shouldn't have to go chasing, but you do want to let us as your managers know that this person is now MIA, that you haven't seen from them, and that's the reason we wouldn't be getting the weekly business plan or the weekly report. Because then the manager can have a fierce conversation. Because again, guys, I really strongly emphasize one of two things needs to happen. They become productive quickly, or they get out of the business quickly. And either one of those are a good thing, because they're either going to make it or they're not. And if they're not going to make it, let's help them figure that out quicker. And by the way, the simple part of not making it, look, if they're doing nothing, and I'm not talking production, I'm just talking doing nothing, we really owe it to them to help them out of the business quicker.
It's done. I got it.
Something that we just, on the management level need to help them do when it gets to that point. But as I say, we as mentors and then managers need to earn the right to have that conversation with them. Other best practices, what are you guys doing that you're finding out is working or getting some greater results, moving people forward, moving them into production? This is the part where the share is coming in and you can't be silent. Go ahead, Kim.
So I agree with Nicole. I very much am super hands-on with my mentees. We are literally, I go with Jen or she comes with me on almost all of our appointments, open houses, all those things. And I think it makes her feel more confident. I mean, I'm going to be, well, Darwin, I was very transparent with you when you were in my office.
Yeah.
And I have two that are part-time. When they look at what is expected of them in that period of time, they go into panic mode because they're trying to juggle kids and families and all this. And I see the potential in both of them. So I take it a little differently. I'm not going to tell either one of them that they're not cut out for this business. I'm going to tell them, okay, we're going to work around your schedule and I'm going to do whatever I can to bring you with me. And I'm going to go with you so we can get as much business done as we can to get you to that point of, oh my God, I made it. Right. So literally she goes everywhere with me. And I think that's made her more confident. And I have no doubt she can go out and do an open house on her own with, she's done them. And it's more just me now kind of overseeing or answering questions for her.
I love that. I love that. And the thing is I want everybody to know you can have a dual career person and they can do exceptionally well. Heather, if you're available, can you share again with everybody a little bit about Janelle and how she did?
Well, we have a couple actually who have part-time jobs. Janelle is now mentoring Sharon, but Janelle came to us with a full-time job that she was running head of marketing for a place, and her goal was to get out of there in a year. And I think she did it in about 9 months. She used her sphere connection really hard. Stacy, we kind of mentored her as an office. Stacy took her on, and she just went to all of us all the time for everything she could. But she now has Sharon. Sharon went to Hard Knocks, and she's had 3 listing appointments, 2 of them FSBO. She nailed and expired. She just closed her first deal, cash deal, 380,000. Sharon did. Yeah. And Janelle just has her, working in what her comfort zone is. And after Hard Knocks, it just happened to be just getting on the phone. That is not something Janelle does. She's not a FSBO caller or expired caller. Her dad's a builder, and same as my husband. So she gets her business sphere wise from referrals and contractors and things like that, like I do. So Sharon, we all take each other under the wing when it comes to mentoring in our office, and all of our mentees know that they can come to any of us at any time with anything. So Sharon has opened up to all of us, and she steps in with us wherever our comfort zones are. But yeah, Janelle's highly successful in getting out of that program very quickly, and now is mentoring herself.
And so the biggie to this is, a matter of fact, you talk with Janelle and it was like, well, you did the 40 hours and then you went and you did real estate. Otherwise, I'm going to put it this way, there was no personal life for a while. And when she did, she scheduled it, but there was no, oh, I just put in 9 hours in this other job. It was, you did it, now you go do real estate. And so we have to look at anybody and get rid of their reasonable excuses. Because you know what? It is a reasonable excuse. You just put in 9 hours. So what? You want to become successful in real estate? Now you go work real estate. It's something different. And you know, guys, you know, mine with officiating high school sports, it's more of a hobby. I don't do it for the money. But I'm gone. And I mean, today's another example. I left the house at 8:30, and I'm in Clarkson. I'll end up down at Rochester. I'll go from Rochester down to Warren Fitzgerald High School, and I'll probably get home at about 9:30, maybe 10 o'clock. Winter, I do that 3, 4, or 5 nights a week. It's just what you decide to do. Either they're in the business or they're not, and we've got to have those fierce conversations with them. So dual career people, they can make it, but we all, managers and mentors, have to hold them accountable to their goals. We just got to know what those are, okay? Which kind of leads me to the next thing I want to bring up, but let me finish. Are there any other best practices that you guys are finding that I'm doing this and it really works well?
So even though Aaron's graduated the program, obviously we still talk, and I think that right matches are important. So like Aaron was already on social media, so when I kind of taught her about social media, she was all about it. I've got some other mentees that aren't, and I tell them, just because it's the way I do it doesn't mean that it's the way you have to do it. There's lots of ideas out there. I'm going to teach you some of it, but you got to learn on your own, you know. But I think it all comes down, we talk about this all the time, mindset, 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 mindset. So I listened to a lot of books. Before I got into real estate, I was torn, do I go back and get my MBA or do I go into real estate? And I felt in the last 2.5 years, I'm just going to tell you my opinion, I've learned twice as much than I did in 4 years of formal college. So with that said, I turned my car into college and I listened to a lot of books. I suggest those to my mentees. So that way they keep that mindset. So even though Erin isn't my former mentee anymore, she had 4 deals fall apart in one day. She does big numbers. So she has, you know, she's got big successes and there's also big fails, but people just look at that and say, oh my God, she did almost 5 million in her first 12 months. Holy moly. Well, she's got tough stuff happening too. So staying in that mindset. So they just work the dual career people. Cool. You work 9 to 5. Now I work 5 to 9 to make it to your next goal. There's books about that. There's inspirational, motivational, I don't know. That's what I do. Podcasts, whatever they want. But I have had success there too, when I've made a book suggestion based on where they are and what they need to hear at the moment.
I love the idea of you calling the car the mobile library. Huge key. So I know back when I got in real estate in 1987, my primary car was a 1968 Mustang. I worked with Century 21. It was gold with a black vinyl top. It just matched. But here was the thing. Floyd Wickman on cassette in my car. When I started the Mustang up, Floyd Wickman was in my ears every time I started it up. It's how you get stuff in here so that it'll just end up coming out without you ever thinking about it. So, you know, it's live and breathe real estate 24/7. Huge part of what you need to be able to do. And by the way, you know, Caroline, I'm glad you just picked up on your phone there. Caroline's actually out. Caroline is also part-time. I pick on her a little bit, meaning she's a full-time mom, right? And I know there's others of you that
Yep.
are full-time moms and you're getting involved. Anything that you can share from a best practice of being a full-time mom who does the business you do and mentors?
I was just gonna say my I don't know, the way that I approach my mentees and what I do in my business, I very much so, I don't work 2 jobs, but I have 6 kids. So they are my first priority. I do this because I can work it around their schedule. I was professional land surveying and architect for 60 to 70 hours a week previous to doing this. And so I couldn't have a family and enjoy what I wanted to enjoy in life without changing up what I did. So that's why I went to real estate. So I have a little bit of a different approach when it comes to my mentors or my mentees that I work with as a mentor. Because I feel, obviously we're here to help them with whatever it is that their goals are in life. And I think it's important for us to remember that everybody's goals are different. The reason I got into real estate is going to be different than any other reason that anybody else got into real estate. So I always ask them coming in, why are they in the business? What do they want to get out of the business? We do a goal planning and goal setting so that they're setting realistic goals for themselves. And then I push them beyond that. So because a lot of times they don't realize that they can go farther than what they have actually done. So I have one mentee that she's doing fantastic. She finally just realized kind of her purpose in life and where she belongs and how she should be operating her business. And she just finally closed $1 million in sales this year. So she's ecstatic. She's over the moon. That $1 million in sales to her is a big deal where, like Nicole said, making $5 million a year is, everybody's different. Everybody has different goals in different areas where they feel that they've reached their potential or they've reached what it is they want to meet. So I think it's very important that we stay kind of customized mentors in that fact, and find out what it is exactly what they need to do and what they need to accomplish. My goals, 5 years ago are totally different than my goals now. Being a mom and my kids getting older and my youngest is 3, which he goes to work with me quite a bit. Just trying to work those schedules and make all of that work together. So I just try to show people, my mentees, that there's those 5 minutes here and there throughout the day that you can work and still do the things that you need to do, or work that second job, or carry on life, and just try to bring out the best in them and the best goals that they can set for themselves at the time, and show them the future of what they can push themselves to be.
I love it. I love it.
I agree, 1000%. I don't think that everybody fits in that same box. I think you
Matter
have
of
to look
fact,
at
Kim,
each one of
Kim,
them.
actually, you need to share what we talked about and what that, I'm going to say it was an adjustment, but not an adjustment. But what did we talk about specifically to the aspect of working on their goals? Do you remember?
Well, yeah, I think the biggest thing is, we talked about the fact that I have to tailor to them what their goal is and what they want to accomplish. I was feeling, honestly, some pressure because, we have these goals that we have to attain. And I told Darwin, I go, maybe this is not for me. I said, but I love the fact that I can work with these guys. I know what it is to come in the business 3 years ago and not have anybody there. And now I feel like they have so much more of an advantage working with somebody. So I had to, Darwin and I talked about it, and I said, okay, I need to step back and say, okay, what are their goals specifically, and how can we make that attainable? And once we had that conversation, I felt much better about it. So, yeah.
Matter of fact, what I want to throw out to this then, managers typically aren't hiring anybody that says, hi, I want to come in and make $14,000. I can't tell you the last time that I interviewed anybody that said they'd be happy with anything less than 30. And here's the reason I'm using the number 30. It's basically at that point, guys, that they've done $1 million in sales, right? That's 30,000 in GCI. How much did the agent make? So the key is this: if it's a 50-50 split, and they did $1 million in sales, they did 30,000 in GCI, they made 15,000, we made 15,000. Caroline was just saying that, here's a person that got really hugely excited about it because they met that goal. Now, they're probably part of the way where they want to be, but and as a company, when somebody does $1 million in sales, guys, we've pretty much got what we're going to get as a company for anything to contribute toward our expenses, our overhead, our then profitability. We'd love them to meet their goals. So if that's 20,000, 30,000, if that's 100,000, that's where we want them to move to. But the key being this, there's nobody that came into this business to make nothing. And there's nobody that said, oh, I've got a year, it doesn't matter before I make money. It's they plan to make money now. And what we have to do is to have the fierce conversations to call them out when they're not doing what's necessary to do what they want to do. So everything that we're doing as we're mentoring, when we're managing, is it's about what they want to do. Okay, so I'm going to shift gears here. I'm doing a little discovery here to help my job, Brenda's job, and your job easier. I want you to go within the last 3 months. Has anybody got a mentee within the last 3 months? New mentee? Kim has.
I have.
And I
Shelley,
just
you
got a
have.
mentee.
Jonathan, you've got one. Was there what I refer to as the manager, mentor, mentee handoff, where the three of you got together and the manager said, hey, Rachel, here's John. John is a new guy that's looking to be able to make $60,000 this year. His goal is to start earning 6 figures within his second year. They tell you about who they are, what they're looking for, what their goals are. Did you have those with the people you were assigned?
I did have a meeting with Jessica and my mentee. We did not go over their goals that they wanted exactly, but we did sign the contract and spoke that this is where we're at and make sure that we're on the same page.
Okay. How about Jonathan? You were just up there. I think you said that you got assigned a new one. Did that happen?
So I've recently been assigned two. We did have the handoff meeting, although the goals weren't necessarily discussed. And when I went through the goals and how to like do the math to figure out what activities you need to do to meet your goals, one of them basically decided to take a hiatus till January. So I'm not sure if that meets your get them in or get them out quickly. And then the other one, we started working and I made some SOI calls and that spooked her a little bit, I think, because I turned around and I was like, okay, now you make a call. And she's like, oh, I'm not ready to make a call. Now the manager was sitting right there and we both tried to encourage her without, being overly pushy. She has since been sick, but I do think that, when I talk to Chuck and Mike tomorrow about this, I will address the fact that, I think the handoff was good, but I did not get a clear understanding of what their goals were so that I could try to help.
The why they were getting into the business.
Right.
Okay.
Can I jump in here just really super quick about something?
Yes.
Okay, so my mentor is on here, Miss Lisa Wiltsey. So I didn't get left alone, but I started March 9th and the world shut down March 13th. And that was the hardest thing, is that I was calling people. I'm like, what if they ask me a question? So that's the biggest reason why I get that we've got part-timers and that, we'll have to, work some evenings with them and whatever. But that's why I just think it's super vital for them to hang out. Like, don't just come to me when I'm going to an appointment. You don't know when I'm going to nail a FSBO because they called me back and now they're ready to go. And that's kind of how I got Erin in, because she wasn't in the office. I was like, girl, I just got a FSBO and you didn't even see it happen. I'm going to try to replay this, but it's not as good as it was live. And so anyways, I don't know. I just think that let them see the business before sticking them on the spot where they have to like perform, because I at least got a chance to fall on my face privately, and I'd prefer to do that and not in front of somebody. You know, if it's my first couple of days. Perfect world. I get a mentee. We start working together right away. They're with me for at least 8 hours every day for 2 weeks. Then yes, I think we should, you know, be making some phone calls together. But now they've seen me make phone calls. They've seen me handle objections. They've seen me fall flat on my face. Now they're not so scared to fail. Everybody's so freaking scared to fail. Fail fast. You'll get better fast.
I love that one.
I think that's all valid. I just would add for context, this agent came from another agency, had been making calls, and this was a planned call time. This was a planned time that we were all going to make calls. I had prepped her with the SOI script. We had already done some role playing. So it wasn't a situation where I just was like on the spot, hey, now you make a call. I wouldn't do that to somebody necessarily. So I just want to make sure that I'm not representing that situation incorrectly.
Hey, Jonathan, you nailed it. I think the only thing would be is the aspect of coaching. And so maybe here's another question for you. Do you feel that your mentees are coming in understanding what they're going to have to do to be successful?
I think that during the interview process, Chuck and Mike try to make it very clear that this isn't just going to fall in your lap. And my initial meetings, I always try to be clear that, your biggest friend in making business is your phone, whether it's you typing on it or you calling people. I think it's very easy for people, including myself, to fall into the passive marketing trap. And I just tried to be encouraging. I made some calls. We made some calls. We've set up this call time so people can fail together. But I also bear in mind that I came in the office. I've seen 20 people wash out and 2 people make it. I don't know. No matter how hard you try to tell somebody what it's going to take to do it, this is a business where you almost have to be thrown to the wolves to understand the effort it takes.
Yes. Yep. The way that you just put it, Jonathan, is my fire ready aim. Because that is real estate. And everything that we do in regards to training and development is set up that way. It's fire ready aim. There is no ready aim fire. There's, Nicole, you mentioned going out, and I believe you said getting your master's. You got your master's in the 2 years that you were doing real estate. It's not go get it and then start doing what you've learned. It's start doing it and then learn how to do what you're doing. That's real estate, and there is no other way around it. People don't have the time to go $100,000 in debt like they do with going to school and then start a real estate career. That I think that's the beauty to it. So I do question whether or not they fully understand. Larry, I handed one gal off to Larry, and we knew coming in, she was not going to be one who was going to pick up the phone. She was going to do it being passively active. That was the way it was going to happen. And we know that. We're still working with her on it. She hasn't done business yet. I think, where's she at, Larry? 6-8 weeks that she's been with us now?
Yeah, and she's on my agenda to touch base with today because of what we've got set up with the mentees this coming Tuesday. From what we took from the School of Hard Knocks, we're trying to incorporate that with Val's mentees and mine in having group phone sessions and try and get those that are a little nervous over that hump. And as a matter of fact, I had Ming in here this morning, and she's getting back in the fold, but her playbook has changed a little bit, but it's something that easily workable. And I'm one believing that I don't want to throw them into the fire until they're pretty much prepared on what they might come up against. So, but she has now agreed to start making phone calls, and she's going to be part of this. So it's all going in the right direction. Unfortunately, not everybody's on that.
Jumping on board. And you know, that's the thing. Like Amanda is our gal who's going to be the actively passive. We know that. The only thing we have to do is to verify that she's in action on the passive activities. It will work eventually if she's doing enough of the right things. So let me jump to another part. How familiar are you guys with Speedboard and its setup?
Nope.
Nope.
Very
Okay.
little.
By the way, it's okay. I'll tell you, like, you know, Kim and I was just out to her office last week. You know, I've been here in Clarkston. I know what we've got in Rochester. And I will tell you that I've become fairly familiar. There's a few things that I just want you guys to actually know regarding Speedboard, I think are really quite important. So let me pull it up and share with you. You guys should be seeing this now. It says mission statement here.
Are you gonna update the videos? Because your hair
Yeah.
was impressive.
Yeah. What you'll see, as a matter of fact, I need to do I got one more to do for Century 21. And then I'll be updating the ones for Coldwell Banker, because those are actually, if you can't tell by my hairline, they're about 6 years old. But as a matter of fact, it's one of the things that I want everybody to know. When we do the mentor, manager, mentee handoff, there is this expectation letter. It's a great time to be able to share what your expectations of them are. I want to look at it this way, and this is part of what Kim and I had talked about. Our goal, and I want you to remember this, and I want you to talk with your mentees about our goals. Now, they're goals, they're not standards. But our goal is to have them a signed contract within 30 days. Within 30 days. Now, let's admit something. That hasn't happened much, right? I don't want our expectation to falter because of what our experience has been. I hope that makes sense. Our experience is that they're not doing it in 30 days. Therefore, we expect a different result than what our goal is that we want to have happen. But let me ask you, if somebody on day 2 was picking up the phone and talked to 25 people in their sphere of influence, if they talked to 15 people in their sphere of influence, and here, if they talked to 10 people in their sphere of influence, and they did that so that within that first 30 days, they'll have talked to everybody in their sphere of influence, do you believe that they would have run across somebody they know, talked to somebody they know that was going to be buying or selling? Answer is
Yes.
absolutely. In here, would they have run into 2 or 3? Absolutely. So if we could get them to do that, would they not come up with one signed contract, either a listing or a buyer contract within that 30 days? Absolutely. Well, that's the part where we've got to get them to expect that to happen. We need to expect that to happen. And if they're not, they haven't talked to the people that they know. Okay. So that's one goal of the speed board and mentor program combined. The other then would have them to graduate within 90 days. Now, experience, do they graduate in 90 days?
No.
No, no. As a matter of fact, Kim, you and I were talking about the frustration because Kim's got them for 9 months. Well, how many can you handle when you're truly vested in them? How many mentees can you handle at one time when you're that vested? And you have them for 9 to 12 months. Well, it's not good for your time, not good for your business, not good for your return on your time investment. So we want to give them proper expectations. And again, all we've got to do is move them toward their goals. So that's why when it comes to that manager, mentor, mentee handoff, there should be a full discussion of how much money do you want to make? Well, why are you getting into this business? Well, if you make that amount of money, what are you going to do with it? Because that's two things that we need to start right out with. And oh, by the way, Speed Board does that. I want to know how much money do you want to make? And what are you going to do with it when you got it, which is the dream sheets. But this page actually does that for you. It will actually get them going and understanding what's necessary. It explains all of what our career development program is about. By the way, blue and gold, it's pretty much the same. So there's a training expectation. Oh, by the way, what does it say right here? Items to be completed while acquiring the license. Before they start, there's the expectation that all of this would be done. So if you haven't looked at this, then you probably haven't. And by the way, mentors, not really your job, but you need to know that this is what it should be set up. Managers, you need to know that this is what they're supposed to do, because the mentor should go, great. Hey, welcome aboard. Congratulations, you got your license. On the way in today, did you drop your sphere of influence letters in the mailbox? Because it says in here on this page, you should have done that. And right here,
No worries, it's all right.
meet with your manager, send out the letters.
If I land business, you understand.
There's a plan to make them productive and successful. All of the basics that Bob's going to be contacting them. Oh, by the way, send in your Realtor Association application. Why does it say that? Because up here, we completed and signed all of the hiring paperwork. What's part of that? The association application. So literally all that's got to be done is faxed over. Now they may, well, what? Well, you just go talk to the admin will send it over. How about this one? Were you aware? This is what, Jonathan, I think you were referring to. Click and watch all of the paperwork videos. It's there for both blue and gold. Gold is updated. Gold still needs the purchase agreement. But blue, yep, my forehead is a lot smaller, but those will be updated. Nobody has to teach them the paperwork. The videos will do it for you. The only thing that as a manager is that you do the review with them on the assignment that this gives them. Bottom line, there's nothing that you guys need to train them on, but I do want you to know this is written from an aspect of bring your butt into the office and go to work. Don't do it at home. You never know when a good learning opportunity or impromptu
Mhm.
learning opportunity is going to occur.
What's up?
So that's a big key. I wanted to show you that. Now let me, oops, I shouldn't have hit that one. Cancel. Let me go to this one. With both the weekly report and the 1-week business plan, it's been instructed for you with experience that you complete this when you get together. I will tell you that with both of these, I am okay if the mentee comes in with them completed. That gives you the time to where you're not writing stuff down, filling it out, them coming in unprepared with no thought, but that they have actually put thought into prior to your meeting occurred. So if this is completed, I'm good with that. Now, just get something on this. Look, I'm a brevity person, but we've got to get something on here. If they bring you a blank one, it's unacceptable, and that's on them. The 1-week business report or the 1-week business plan. I want to point out a couple of things. If I work 5 days, is it good for me to say have 10 hours of prospecting? Is that acceptable? I'm okay with 2 hours minimum. I think that's very acceptable, as a matter of fact. If I have 10 hours, what the heck is a contact? Anybody? Kim, I muted you, by the way.
A conversation.
It's a conversation. They talked real estate to someone, with someone. They had a conversation about real estate. So if I had 10 hours of prospecting here, how many contacts should I actually be able to make?
My goal when I was new was 50. It's still 50 a week.
So how many hours would it take you to do that?
That's a great question. I actually made myself a daily focus card when I first started because that's what we used at Verizon. And I used to track all of that stuff so I could figure out what was working, what's not. Probably a really good excuse, but I just time. So a lot of what I do, I have to multitask it. So if I'm driving from one appointment to another, that's when I'm popping in those phone calls.
So I want you to picture something here. It says I'm going to work 5 days, do 10 hours of prospecting. I'm going to have 1 contact for a buyer, 1 contact for a seller, and I'm going to end up with 10 leads. Is that correct? So 5 days, 10 hours, 1-on-1 on the contacts, line 3. I'm going to have 10 leads generated. Let me point out what that's really saying to make it really obvious. Number 1, I'm going to work 5 days. I am going to, in those 5 days, have of those work hours, 10 of them for prospecting for the week. I'm going to talk to 2 people, line 3, and I'm going to get 10 leads. 2 people will give me 10 leads. Is that possible?
I don't think so.
I don't know how you turn 2 people into 10 leads.
Right.
Right? Let me give you a formula that here, the number of days they work. Look, if they're part-time, they could put in 6 days. How many hours are they going to work in prospecting? My suggestion, they still need to do at least 1 to 2 hours minimum. Matter of fact, if a minimum is 2 hours a week or 2 hours a day for full-timers, that should be at least 1 hour a day for part-timers. And I don't give a rip that you worked 5 days. That's not what you got into the business to do. Quit you making up excuses. You got the entire weekend. And if you're working 67 hours a week, why did you get into real estate? And by the way, that would be on us as managers. But I'm thinking 2 hours a day. Then for contacts, 5 per hour. So make note of that one, 5 per hour for line 3. They could simply take 2 times 5. That gives them a result for line 3. Leads generated, a good one is 30 to 1. Or I'll tell you what, contacts to, let's look at it this way, leads 10 to 1. 10 to 1 lead. So they talk to 30 people, they should have 3 leads generated. Now, by the way, if somebody's working only for sale by owners, would that be a lot higher number? Absolutely. Face-to-face listing presentations goal. Probably 2 or 3. Everybody. Almost everybody should be, including our dual careers, 1 a week. Now, maybe that's 2 a month. But for this, they pretty much should be going for 1 a week. Now, from there, typically there's not a real issue. The issue is between 2, 3, and 4, where we're getting people that are putting no thought into what they're doing. And guys, can I be fierce? We're not looking at them. Okay, we're not looking at them. And that's we as mentors and we as managers, we're not looking at that. So there are those 3 things that I definitely wanted to cover with you as far as my findings. And so that's that. We covered that. Let me then just make sure you know a couple of things. They should be receiving this script book. This should be given to them on a thumb drive or flash drive. If somebody says, well, where am I going to find it? There's a link on Speedboard for anything. By the way, they go, where am I going to find whatever? There is a link in Speedboard, or it's on a flash drive that the manager is giving them. And on that flash drive should be all of the mentor material, their Speedboard, the script book, how to set up Ring Central, the office location map, marketing services, equal housing, policy procedure. They've got everything between 1 of 2 places. But when they got this flash drive, Speedboard is on there. I would tell you as mentors, please find out how they're tracking their activity on Speedboard. I'm learning that what may be the best way to do it is that they have a printed copy that they carry with them like they would if they were a believer and had a Bible. If they're a Bible thumper, it's carried in their hand, it goes with them everywhere. I think, I'm going to say at this point, a best practice, have them print it, but they need the flash drive. You know, managers, I'll tell you what I'm discovering. That first 2 weeks, almost a meeting, Speedboard says, meet with your manager first thing. If they're in it and they're full-time, without doubt, they should be meeting with us full-time. Otherwise, they're not really in the business. Okay. So I wanted to point those couple of things out to you. I think that's it.
I do have a question, Darwin.
It's noon and 16 seconds.
Um,
Go ahead and then we'll
So-
call it good.
so the paperwork that you have day by day, where do I receive that? Because I don't see that in like the mentor program, like book that I received from Jessica.
What?
You're frozen.
I think it's my computer that it's slowing everything down, but you're saying, where is it?
Yeah, where it says day by day, and then actually the.
Okay, are you guys here? Yeah, so what they should receive, Rachel, is a flash drive.
I have my old one, but I don't know if
Yeah.
anything is updated on it.
They should, during the manager, mentor, mentee handoff, receive that and everything should be on there.
Okay,
Speedboard and everything else that they need is right there.
now if I have one from a year ago, when I was a
Doesn't
mentee,
count.
okay,
Don't use it.
okay,
There's going to be updates and I'll be working, my goal will be at the first of the year. We'll have 2023 Speedboard
okay,
and everything would be updated along with that. But yeah, that you want their flash drive because that will be the latest. Let me rephrase that. Should be the latest version of everything. And again, we'll be working with everyone to be able to show what is out there. But that would be where you would find it at.
okay, thank you.
And I'm trying to get around, but Jess and James, I'm pretty sure they've got the most recent of everything. The biggest thing I would tell you guys is if there's this long list of stuff, they're overloaded. Rachel, where you helped me out was to be able to go that here's day one, do these things. Here's day two, do these things. We've got to get them on that.
Okay,
If there's almost nothing else for them to worry about other than day one of Speedboard. And then when they come in, day two of Speedboard. And then day three of Speedboard. It will direct all activities, all education, everything that they should be doing. If we simplify it, we just go Speedboard and they go, ugh. And you go, okay, bring me your copy that you printed out. Show me where you're at. And that's on us as managers. The reason I bring up Speedboard is that you need to know what they should be doing and going, well, where are you at in Speedboard? If you and your manager are constantly on them about where are you at in Speedboard, they're eventually going to understand that their career success really begins with that, and the investment of your time in them and the reward that you receive back really does begin there. So great question there, Rachel. Kim?
Quick question. The script book that they have, are those scripts based on Hard Knocks, boot camp? Where do
Yes.
those scripts come from?
Those are all very, very similar. And actually that one that they should be receiving is the most updated.
Okay.
So Alex and I always get in and we'll do little twists, but they're all very, very similar. Here, if you took what we originally started with 4 years ago, not a whole lot of difference.
Okay.
The only thing we did was to word them in a little bit way to where we could kind of touch base, make all personalities more comfortable.
Okay.
All right. Anybody else got anything else?
Hello.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your time and what you're putting in. Thank you for your feedback. Thank you for sharing. And we'll see you again for the first Thursday in
Cooked chicken.
November.
Fine.
And again, we'll get together
Hold
at
on
the
one second.
first year, face to face, nose to nose, toes to toes. Have a great one, everybody. Thank you.